I am joined by this esteemed panel, starting from the left here. I have Mr. Sang and Choi, President and CEO of Samsung Engineering, followed by Øyvind Eriksen, President and CEO of Aker ASA, followed by Catherine Zhu, Global Head, Venture Digital Innovation and Partnerships of HSBC, and with my colleague here, Hitoshi Nara, President and CEO of Yugawa Corporation. Okay, so let's start with maybe a warm-up question with regard to you've been in the business for many years, and I would like to maybe hear from you what is really the biggest impact that your organizations had on the local economy that you are operating at. So we start with you, Mr. Sang-an.
Yes, we Samsung Engineering was founded in the 1970s, almost 50 years ago, established by the Korean government as Korea's first engineering company. At the beginning, we were supported by foreign entities to grow our capability. Before year 2000, we built our capability and capacity in Southeast Asia. Then, starting from 2001, we entered into Saudi Arabia. At the same time, we started business in the Middle East too. We worked as a major contractor, and we worked as growth partner to Saudi Arabia, issuing in-kingdom orders, increasing jobs in Saudi Arabia, and fostering younger talents, growing many new engineers, something like that. We worked in Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, I've seen Samsung Engineering throughout my career, and they have been really developing and taking care of the ecosystem around them and building a very strong talent to support their operation.
Thank you.
Øyvind?
So I'm not making this a competition about age, but it's the fact that Aker was established as a mechanical workshop in Oslo, Norway, 180 years ago. Today, Aker is the largest group of industrial activities in Norway, and it's also the largest private employer in my home country. But Aker is also a global business with 50% of revenue domestically, and the remaining 50% generated outside Norway. The short version of the Aker history is that we have been a front runner in more or less all the core industries of Norway. So today, energy in general and oil and gas in particular are the main activities in our group, accounting for roughly 2/3 of the business. But we are also in renewable technologies like offshore wind. We're in clean technologies like CCS. And in recent years, we have also entered into new industry segment, including enterprise software. And the consistent method of work since we established Aker 180 years ago is to build new industrial activities and new technologies at the shoulder of existing industrial activities. So when we entered the software space less than 10 years ago, it was the domain expertise in our established industries, oil and gas in particular, which was the entry point and which helped us to define more precisely what problem to resolve. So what Aker brings to the Norwegian economy is partly innovation, partly technology, partly how we have transitioned ourselves in parallel with how Norway has changed, and partly a significant workforce domestically, and last but not least, a mindset of partnership approach. because Norway is a small country, only 5 million people, but it's a relatively significant producer of oil and gas offshore, and it would have been impossible for us to produce the natural resources successfully without strong partners, both as operators, but also as suppliers. And that's what we would like to bring also to this kingdom. A strong partnership approach and a commitment not only to build a significant presence and business, but also to be a part of the impressive transformation of the economy and the industry in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, thank you. Catherine?
So HSBC, it's hard not to know HSBC as a brand name. We operate in 56 countries globally. We're the second or first largest trade banks in the world. Every one of the 3 ocean liners right now flying in the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean is trade financed by HSBC. So it's a really big household name. We employ 250,000 people worldwide. In Saudi, we actually employ over 5,000 people, and we serve more than 1.5 million customers. So our brand value proposition is we create a world of opportunities. We do that by bringing together people, our customers, our suppliers, our technology providers, communities, and the markets together and drive progress and growth. And we look forward to partner with Saudi and really like my colleagues' comment about open up the world of opportunity, collaborating, and make things come together.
Okay, great. I have to say that maybe I'm one of the ignorants here that I thought HSBC is only about banks. So I'm glad that you are doing much more than that. And
we do much more than financing, right? So we're in EV, we're in solar, we're in biotech, we're in many, many sectors. So happy to elaborate further.
Okay, very good. Okay, Yatoshi-san?
Yes. Yokogawa is automation vendor and solution vendor. Actually, our company core competency is measurement, control, and integration information. So that means we contribute mainly process industry. So this is our business. And we are very proud to contribute local and regional knowledge-based economies by investing and developing local talent and creating jobs, developing and stimulating the SME value chain through our business, and collaborating locally for the development global applications. So that means I trust this will have a sustained impact in regions where we operate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think Yokogawa really have a very impressive growth story in Saudi Arabia. I remember in the 90s when you first started with very small projects, and today Yokogawa is one of the big Mac suppliers competing with the biggest in the world. So I think that's really very impressive. Okay, very good. So maybe let's take another round of questions. Now, what you have really done in the areas you operate at is very impressive. But as you know, there is nothing stays where it is. Always we need to push further and do more with what we have to support the economy that we work in and develop the ecosystem around us. So starting with you, Mr. Sengan, what would be the next maybe opportunity that Samsung would be exploring and finding and supporting the economy?
Yeah. It will be better to introduce what we are working for increasing investment at the moment. It is our honor to be part of a great ecosystem as you build. And I appreciate that we have been building this ecosystem. along with all of you here today. According to the statistics of the IMF, Saudi Arabia is one of the world's fastest growing economy, with a GDP growth reaching 7% range in this year. In this country of a promising economy, we aim to foster and hire local promising engineers who will lead economic growth of Saudi Arabia. Indeed, we are working to establish new EPC company in Saudi Arabia based on the NEC, National EPC Championship Program. Already we hired recently 20 Saudi young engineers, and they got the training at our headquarters. And they joined the on-the-job training program as well. And we will continue to recruit young talent, aiming to have 50% manpower filled by local hires in our new NEC joint venture. Because young guys are very easy and good at handling new technologies. We will encourage them to participate in our effort to advance digitalization and utilize our innovative solutions. And we will support them to grow into new leader in our NEC joint venture. In addition, we are preparing some paradigm shift in the existing EPC industry throughout our innovative change of a project execution structure. Developing and applying our new innovations, I suppose new jobs will be created in this Saudi Arabia. And we plan to strengthen the partnership with the local vendors and the subcontractors, providing our smarter shops and the module fabrication technologies and the digital transfer, digital technology solutions. Something like that, we expect new jobs will be created very much. And we are very actively supporting OK vendors to enter into the kingdom to foster market in raw material and equipment fabrication related to this EPC industry. Something like that, we are working very hard behind Aramco's notice. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Now, these are really excellent and very, very ambitious plans, and definitely Aramco would be more than a supporter. We would be more than willing to join hands with you and push the EPC industry forward, given the opportunity that we have here in the kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Øyvind?
Well, we are all in the midst of an energy crisis, and Aker will try to play our role in order to provide both energy security, energy efficiency, and energy transition. As far as energy security is concerned, we are already today the second largest producer of oil and gas on the Norwegian continental shelf, and we have the most ambitious investment program among any operator in our home country. 18 greenfield projects, and we're investing $30 billion during the next 4 to 5 years in new capacity. So that's a main contribution from us to energy security, and oil and gas is a part of a longer-term strategy and foundation in Aker, both as a matter of technology, employment, competency, and cash flow. But we are deploying the set of resources also to transition ourselves once again into new industry segments. And I mentioned previously, briefly, renewable, mainly offshore wind, which is a very important part of a longer-term development. The Aker Group has designed more than 60% of all floating oil and gas installations in the world. And that competency and that experience is our unfair advantage to help offshore wind also to develop floating foundations. So we were both in the bottom fixed and in going forward in the floating offshore wind industry segment. What I've talked about so far is the more established part of the Aker Group. But I've also mentioned previously the fact that we, during the last decade, enter into industrial software. And that's for us a very important part also of the said energy challenges. In order to provide energy security and add additional capacity, we need to develop a different method of work to execute large capital intensive projects. So as we speak, we have developed technology deployed exactly for that purpose, to reduce the number of engineering hours in a large capital intensive project, to enhance the efficiency between the operator and a wide range of suppliers, to reduce the time it takes to develop a large project, and basically to reduce, also to identify and mitigate the risks involved. So software is for us an enabler for both the transformation and for the improvement of our company, but it's also a very, very exciting new industry segment. Because Aker is not the only company in the world with a desperate need to change helped by new technology. So we took a different approach and established software as a separate business in the Aker Group. And we have established a number of exciting partnerships in order to scale also in that part of the Aker Group. One of the most important partnerships is Context here in Saudi Arabia, a partnership with Aramco. And Context will both distribute our technology, Google Cloud services, and other software technologies in the kingdom. And I can hardly see any country in the world today with a higher level of ambition and a bigger amount of opportunities than Saudi Arabia. I can neither see a country with a better alignment between the government and the private sector. So to be a part of it is obviously an exciting business opportunity in itself, but it's also a contribution to transition of existing businesses, not only in Aker, not only in Aramco, but all around the world. And if you sum everything I've set up, it will be a lot of innovation, a lot of new technology, and a potential to create new and exciting jobs at scale.
Okay, Øyvind, I think you are really bringing a lot of good points. I think we can maybe spend another couple of hours, discussing some of them. But the energy transition and the, carbon neutrality, with all the challenges that they're really bringing a lot of opportunities. And definitely that will open a lot of fronts for many of us to to tackle and also to help the ecosystem around us. I have to take note of what Aker is doing with regard to the software. We are inspired with what you have done with Cognite and the JV we have, through Context. And we are following your steps, and very soon we'll be announcing our digital arm. So we'll be glad to share this with the rest of the people.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, Narasan, you wanted to comment on this topic?
Okay. Thank you very much. I believe that winning companies actually create differentiation. So differentiation means a growth. So and the growth requires skilled personnel and technology. So human resource-wise, our growth strategy drive employment and bring up skills. This is our investment. Also, technology-wise, we would like to contribute digital transformation, sustainability transformation, and global transformation. This is our aim. Regarding to DX, we would like to contribute AI, machine learning, security, robotics, also plant optimization. So we would like to invest such kind of area and improve. So customer Aramco-san and also Saudi Arabia is a competitive advantage will be accelerated. This is our investment. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Maybe let's take another round on the same topic with regard to how we can really help the economy, but maybe this time with an R&D twist on it, and discuss how R&D can really enable the ecosystem and open opportunities. Catherine, you want to take a shot at this?
Yeah, so to build on the points made earlier, so R&D, we broadly categorize it as innovation. The definition of innovation at HSBC is actually not pure theoretical research. We have a very small group that does pure theoretical research, but the ballpark of what we do is we drive a commercial monetization of certain ideas and get to market, and then actually drive commercial outcomes, whether in the impacting customer experience or drive value chain shifts or cost or benefit realization. Those are the outcomes we achieve. So you can think of us as almost using R&D to deploy a lot of little speech boats alongside of the super tanker of HSBC. So these little speech boats can take on a bit more risk and can fall and fail fast, but learn something and get to market quicker. So that's how we think of R&D. And the other dimension we think of it is so today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. So today is all incremental innovation. So bots, right? Chat bots, IVR, reduced call center call volumes, making the mobile banking apps perform better, reduce fraud. All those are incremental changes we got to make. Tomorrow is about let's make at least 40–60% of the work go away. Many of those processes do not exist. It's not for the rational reason that makes sense for our consumers or our supply chain partners. So, for example, payments. Payments is eating the world. So the fact that Stripe, TransferWise, right, and the Revolut exists is because we don't make it easy. So we actually want to significantly change our value chain, how we traditionally made money, to new ways of making money, making it easier for the customer to transfer money, to do foreign exchange. Therefore, we can earn the right to exist tomorrow. So that's a transformation. But super exciting is the day after tomorrow. I spend a big part of my time think about the day after tomorrow. When I wake up, we better still have a business. So what's scary that wake me up to think about the day after tomorrow are these deep hard tech innovations that's happening around the world, especially in MENAT. Things like digital assets, right? Digital asset is about giving Every single person, engineers especially, the ability to code and create money. Tokens are of, right? Tokens are these form of unit that has a monetary value. I can create money, house money, custodize money, transfer money 24/7. Think about our global exchanges, those are not 24/7. 24/7 with zero cost. That's the promise of digital currency. So what if that's widely adopted? How should we, HSBC, play a role in that future economy? The fact of, right, the foreign exchange and the cross-border, these frictions exist, does that mean they should exist the day after tomorrow? So we must really aggressively experiment in that new economy that's powered by these new technologies to play a role to create transparency, trust, and safety in the digital currency world. The other very exciting topic is quantum computing. Quantum computing is going to render most, right, maybe 90% of the cybersecurity practices exist across industries, beyond banking, super obsolete, literally the day you wake up the day after tomorrow. And quantum computing is not far away anymore. These things take 10 to 15 years to materialize. We think it's now 3 to 5, maybe 7 years. So we better wake up and upskill our engineers and think about, right? Quantum computing operates totally different than the 0 to 1, the binary world. You can have a cat that catch the mouse in the 10,000 rooms that the Queen has in the Buckingham Palace in fraction of seconds. That cat can exist in all those rooms at the same time versus going to one room, right? 0 to 1, 0 to 1. My cat can be existing in all rooms at once. That's what the quantum computing means in the layman's terms. So we are aggressively experimenting on those things. So that's how we portfoliorize our investments across all these three horizons and really make sure we have the right bets in all three.
Okay, well, that's great. So we should be watchful for the next disruptive technology that is financed by
We should be
HSBC.
very aware of those, right? We can't say, hey, it's today, I'm just going to manufacture faster cars. You got to say, right, Tesla didn't manufacture a car. Tesla manufactured a flying iPad, right? That's what they're going. So don't make cars go faster and cheaper. Do a different car.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's maybe, I know Samsung is doing a lot of work. You mentioned something about uplifting the EBC industry to the next level. I know Samsung is really riding on a strong Samsung group with a lot of digital capabilities. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit on what Samsung is doing on the data platform that is really transforming the EBC execution and using VR, AR also for review of project documents.
Yeah. Sorry that is out of our scenario. Recently I'm saying we are no longer ordinary EPCs. I know another EPCs, we worked together as a joint venture. Mm-hmm. I could see even we were same before. Just we worked as a conventional way, as we worked 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago. Nothing changed in our execution detail. But recently, regretting all of this, we started to invest to develop new management technologies. Because this time is very good, because digital technology is very advanced. So most of all our engineering activities, nearly 50%, we made it automated. Without the engineers' involvement, engineering will be made automatically, comparing to the past, almost 50%. Each discipline had their own automated engineering program we put all of this onto the platform. And recently we succeeded to connect all this automated program we are calling engineering data platform. So comparing to 3 years ago, we could save engineering manpower 50%. And then we can shorten engineering period 6 months than before. So very soon we would like to bring this new engineering way to our customer, to our Aramco. And also we would like to share with the Yokogawa together to make it more effect. Something like that, very unknown innovation we made. Very soon we would like to make it the propaganda on the magazines.
Very
We
good.
will share with it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Øyvind, what's new on the software side?
So we have a wide range of opportunities. So you asked the question, Ahmed, about innovation and R&D, and I think for all of us that's a very vital part of our development and our transformation. Quite often we talk about R&D in financial numbers, but ultimately it's all about leadership and talent. And in our group, we always start with a practical problem to solve. And that method of work and that mindset also applies to what we have done recently on the software side. And software is a necessity to solve some of the larger challenges in the world today, including some of the environmental issues. So we are all committed to reduce emissions from our respective operations. But the question is how? And you can obviously achieve a lot by building new facilities, but you also have to improve existing facilities in operation. And one example in our portfolio today is that our oil company, Aker BP, they acknowledge the fact that we have too high CO2 emissions from our offshore operations, partly due to the fact that the facilities are still powered by electricity from gas turbines. Gas is more or less available offshore for free, so hence we are running the turbines more or less at full speed, regardless of the need for electricity. So by deploying our Cognite Data Fusion platform and by liberating data from all the relevant sources, we are today able to deploy artificial intelligence which predicts the need for electricity short and longer term, and to adjust the production of electricity accordingly. And this is work in progress, but the target is to reduce CO2 emissions from our offshore operations by up to 50%. So that's a significant improvement of existing industrial facilities, solely helped by new software solutions. Let me mention one other important area, which is carbon capture and storage. In my opinion, a prerequisite for solving the environmental issues in the world today. And I know that in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is committed to play a leading role also in that technology segment. Aker has been in carbon capture since the mid-90s. We have probably one of the few proven technologies available at scale in the world today. But the problem with CCS so far has been the cost. It's too costly. So in order to make the commercial decision more predictable for our customers, we have decided that going forward, carbon capture and storage will be offered as a service. The customer will pay a fixed amount per ton CO2 captured and stored. In order to develop and offer that product, you need a pretty accurate way to measure and monitor emissions. Once again, software tools is a necessity and a solution. So by combining new software solutions with available technology, you can actually also change business models, which will help us finally to scale a technology like CCS.
Great. I think, as we said, I think this is going to really open up a lot of opportunities for the local economy. I like the notion on the carbon capture, especially the mobile type, because that can be fabricated in a modular design where it can generate a lot of job opportunities for locals. So that's definitely something we'd like to explore with Aker. Maybe let's shift gears here and start talking about SME. SME, as you all know, is really a key component of any economy. I know Yokogawa has been a pioneer in building their center in Spark, which is really a very strong signal of their commitment to the local economy. So, Nara-san, can you maybe tell us how is that investment is going and what is the role of SME development as part of that center?
Thank you very much for your comment. So, SMEs are the engine of economy. This is our recognition. And Yokogawa understand that working with SMEs is not only good corporate social policy, but also good for our business. We are working towards development SMEs in all regions where Yokogawa operates. So, and as a part of our business plan, we are considering setting internal KPIs or targets to maximize the development and empowerment of SMEs. So I'm very proud to say for Yokogawa, about 85% of local goods and service in our operation in Saudi Arabia are coming from SMEs. We want to accelerate more and more regarding to SMEs portion. Yeah, thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, I think we're coming to the end of the session. So maybe I'll just give everyone a chance to maybe share with us any challenge that you are facing as part of your effort in localizing your businesses here, trying to support the local economy. Anything that we as Aramco we need to know of, or any of the ecosystem stakeholders around us here that also need to be aware of. Mr. Choi, and
I would like to talk a little more about the SMEs
okay.
and to increase job opportunities together. In our point of view, SME is our vendor and or subcontractors. Let's say we are a large firm. If we are calling large firm, all our vendor and the subcontractors, we can say they are SMEs. Rather than making relation only as the contract point of view, we are calling them as partner, local partners, in order to make their competition power increase. We are cooperating together. We are involving their part to review their activities, especially at the interfering part. Time to time, some vendors already we started to make it automated. without sending paper and waiting for approval. In order to make more efficient relations, we made it many part of interfering part as automated. That is how we could improve their competitiveness. And if some vendor, let's say it is SMEs, if they need some financing support, we are quite open to resolve, like some prior payment and some prior investment. We are calling it investment in order to solve their financing difficulties. But in the future, in next project, we may buy their goods at the discounting our prior payment. Something like that, we are cooperating very closely to make them more efficient to work and to make more competitive. We are very closely working together in this way, especially with Saudi local vendors together.
Excellent. I think I can really vote for Samsung commitment on finishing jobs and getting the subcontractors and the small businesses with them along these journeys. I think there is a track record that we have seen, and I really appreciate that approach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Eriksen.
Well, in the collaboration with Aramco, we are probably all SMEs. But it's a very inspiring opportunity. So thank you so much for opening the doors here in your kingdom and to share with us your ambitions and your strategies. And if you take the bigger picture, I think the Aramco strategy today is very much about the large global challenges and opportunities. And we have talked about it already. I'm not a second in doubt about the fact that in this kingdom you have what it takes not only to solve some of the large global challenges, but also domestically, but also do it at global scale. At the same time, time is of essence. We have seen net zero commitments, both from governments and from private business enterprises, in order to support the targets in the Paris Accord. We have immediate challenges with energy security, and we are all working on diversification of our respective economies. These are, it will take time, but still time is of essence. So I think the biggest challenge, not only for a country like Saudi Arabia, but also for largest business enterprises like those represented here, is to deploy the level of agility and speed which is needed in order to solve the said problems within the time we have available. So in order not only to develop a solution, but also to commercialize the opportunity, I think we should all inspire each other to not to spend more time on decision-making processes and discussions than what's actually needed in order to deliver practical, tangible, and financially attractive results.
Very good. I would support on that. I think we need agility in decision making and getting to the results, as soon as possible. Thank you.
Could not have agreed more. So it's all about speed to market and urgency, right? The sense of urgency and agility, and don't do the reporting. The market should tell you where to focus versus generating these management reports. So we want to really just aggressively take advantage of the timing we're in. They said, don't ever waste a crisis. So I think no one can deny we live in some sort of crisis right now. And innovation is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So it's really a necessity for us to innovate disruptive and go forward.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Nara?
So, I would like to add a little comment. So in addition to SME empowerment, so cross-border economic development is very important. So I hope it will be easy movement of labor and goods. And so I would like to recommend that flexibility in that labor market continues to be increased. That's what I will ask. Thank you very much.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much. I think with that we conclude our session. I would like to thank you all for your input and participation and interest in being here with us in Saudi Arabia. As we have seen, I think the opportunities are endless. Every one of you really brings a different angle, and for Aramco, we are really looking forward to partner with you and push forward to meet the ambitions of Vision 2030. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.